I did get the notice streaming is turned on.
Okay, I've got the notice that the streaming is on. I'm not seeing it. There it is. Okay, go.
Wonderful.
I'm turning my mic off.
All right, thank you. Okay. Good evening. This is the meeting of the West Hartford Library Board, and the meeting will come to order. I'd like to welcome you to the September meeting of the West Hartford Library Board, and my name is Eileen Daly, and I am the chair of the West Hartford Library Board. This meeting is being conducted in a virtual format allowed by law. Members of the public can view the meeting live on West Hartford Community Television at www.whct.tv.org and www.youtube.com/WHCTV5. The meeting is also being reviewed on the website for at least 45 days. Conducting this meeting in virtual format, there are some special rules and procedures that I need to cover before we begin. First, I ask all participants to mute your device when you are not speaking. If you wish to be recognized, please raise your hand and I will call on you in the order I see hands raised. If you are participating by audio only, or I do not call on you and the debate is ending, then unmute your phone and let me know so that I can recognize you. Second, all speakers must make a good faith effort to state the person's name and title at the outset of each occasion that such person participates in the meeting. Third, all votes are unanimous. Fourth, a reminder that if any participant has a problem with connectivity, you should immediately call Heidi Reagan, whose phone number you were provided earlier. Heidi will let me know and we will recess the meeting while the problem is resolved. If it cannot be resolved quickly, we will ask you to call into the meeting using a phone and participate via audio only. I will now call the roll and note the staff members who are present. Okay. This is on video here. Gail Crockett.
Gail Crockett, Library Board member present.
Thank you. EJ Greenspan.
EJ Greenspan, Library Board member present.
Okay, and Natalia Menjivar was just on, but had to dash off, I think.
I'm here.
Circle back. Our Laura Irmscher.
I'm here, Eileen.
Irmscher. Okay, thanks. I don't have a square for you. Thank you. Oh, I went to 2 pages. Okay. Nice to hear from you. Also present are Laura Irmscher, Library Director, and Office Operations Specialist Heidi Reagan. So Kim is back on.
Eileen, did you say that
I did, and then you popped off, but Kim Cohen?
I am here as well.
Okay. All right, so thank you all for coming to the meeting, and we can start with the agenda for this evening. The meeting's been called to order, and next item is public comment, of which we have none unless I'm unaware of anything that's come up. Okay. So moving on to item 3, to the approval of the consent agenda for items 4, 8, AI, 8, and 8, AII. May I have a motion to approve? Gail? Okay.
Crockett, board member approved.
All right, very good. And then may I have a second, EJ? Thank you. All right, all in favor? Everyone?
All
right.
in favor.
Okay, yeah, because it's, all right, thanks for speaking up. And so moved. All right. So item 4 is for the approval of the minutes of the June 26, 2023 meeting. May I have another motion to approve? All right, Gail, okay.
I leave that one on the consent.
I'm sorry, what?
That was covered in the consent agenda, so
Oh my
that,
goodness, I forgot to cross it off. I've been crossing them off before. All right, so we're moving on to number 5. Thank you, Laura. There we go, which is the chair's report and covers the ACLB Intellectual Freedom Training. And I think, was that you, Laura, for this item? The chair's report?
I put it on the agenda. I wasn't sure if any of the board members had an opportunity to attend the training last week, so I just put it on there to see if you wanted to share any information about it. And I think
Okay.
Natalia attended.
Yes, I
Right.
was able to attend.
You were, that's great.
I can see, I'm going to try to switch on my notes here because it's on the phone as well. I don't know if I'll go away, but I had made a few notes.
And while she's looking for those, I'll add that they just sent out a recording of it, so I can share that with the board, so you can watch that after Natalia tells you about it.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, I don't see my notes, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really informative. One of the takeaways that I remember, and I think Laura and her staff have always taken this approach, but you know, anytime that libraries face challenges with respect to books or contents of collections, you know, oftentimes it's with a lot of negative, you know, hatred or other types of strong feelings that members of the community might feel, you know, they need to sort of attack members of the board or staff or libraries for why they choose to have contents in the collections. And I think that a really positive approach is, you know, kind of they go low, but we stay high. So always approach those types of people or their negativity with, you know, really positive affirmations to reinforce the message of the library, which is we're all about inclusion. We're about, you know, access and trying to make sure these materials cover a wide audience and that everybody feels like they're represented in stories and that they're always going to find support and sort of backing in the library community. So I thought that was a powerful message.
Terrific. It's always good to take the high road.
Yeah.
I'm glad you got to attend.
Yeah, it was great. And they did send the link out. So that's always wonderful. You know, so for people who couldn't attend or make that time, you can listen to it on your own time.
Okay, good. All right, thank you so much. Coming up on item 6, which is old business. We've got a few items from Laura. Care to take it on?
Thank you, Eileen. Laura Irmscher, Library Director. First up, we have an update on our strategic plan. I'd like to let you know what we've been working on so far, and then there's some things I'd like to hear from you on how we shall proceed. So we've started our strategic planning process. You may remember at the last meeting, I let you know that we joined the cohort with CLC, and we have 6 other libraries going through this process with us. I've assembled a staff team and we're planning the process, we're doing research, and we're going to be coordinating community and stakeholder input. Last week, the entire group was able to meet with all of the planning teams for the 6 other libraries, and we had a really great session. We discussed the meaning and importance of strategic planning, and we had a brainstorming session on the issues and trends that are facing society over the next few years and what role a public library could play in that landscape. And it was a really nice way to kind of wrap our minds around the forward thinking of a strategic plan and how a library fits into so many things that are going on in the world. So our planning team, we're beginning to plan what community engagement looks like. And here's one of the areas I'd really welcome your recommendations. We're thinking about how to gather input from library users and also how to reach people who don't use the library at all. If you have any suggestions about groups to connect with, other ways to hear from the community, we're thinking about having things either in the library, at other spaces in the community, perhaps some surveys to send out to people. So any ideas that you have, I would really welcome that, and I can take it back to the planning team and we can see how to make that happen. And one of our main objectives is to review the mission, vision, and values of the library. We You may remember the library had a strategic plan from 2017 to 2022, and so the mission, vision, and values were set and adopted then. And so we're in a good position because that wasn't too long ago. But this is an area where the library board can take a leadership role and looking at how those apply today and into the future. So I'd like to recommend that the board consider dedicating significant time, whether it's at your next meeting or scheduling a special meeting, maybe sometime in the next month, where you can review and discuss the relevance of the existing mission, vision, and values, and see what changes we might want to consider to move the library forward. So if there's any thoughts you have on that, or if you'd like me to share any more information on what you're working on, I'm happy to do that. I think Natalia wanted
Daily Chair. Oh, I'm sorry, Natalia. I didn't see your hand first. Go ahead.
That's okay. Natalia Menjivar, library board member. Laura, just with respect to the community engagement piece and how to, get access to maybe people who don't have cards or who aren't linked up with the library. What is the library doing? Maybe you guys already had this in place, just like widespread with public schools and elementary schools. Is there something that can be done, like a booth at their Scholastic Fair, or some way of ensuring, or even, career day, ensuring that like every kid in the school has their own library card, and sending something home in the schools? I'm sure the schools would like welcome and like absolutely love, partnering. And then my other thought, maybe to reach people who aren't already connected to schools. I know the library is obviously non-denominational, but churches, are another community gathering spot. All different faiths. It could be another way of reaching maybe communities that haven't already connected with the library.
Thank you.
EJ?
And my other thought was perhaps having a booth at Celebrate West Hartford, or some of the other townwide events like the Park Road Parade, that get high attendance of people in town who may be, different than people in school. I think the schools are a great idea, but this would supplement it.
Mm-hmm, definitely. Thank you. Hi, Gail. Gail, you're up.
Yes.
Can we try again?
I'm not on mute.
Okay, try again. Yep, you're good. I can hear you now.
Okay. So in conjunction with that, I just want to sort of travel back a couple of years when the board approved the outreach networking that I and another woman, Ann, who's no longer with us on the board, were trying to establish, specifically with the goal in mind of reaching out to population groups who don't frequent the library, don't have a card. And we got waylaid because COVID arose and just threw everything off kilter there. However, I would just like to remind and piggyback on a comment concerning existing programs in our town. For example, I was thinking of, and I know your resources are limited, but I don't know how effective it would be to try to sign people up for library cards at Juneteenth, which is already come and gone. We have Indigenous Peoples Day coming up, and I see that First Church is doing quite a few things, particularly, I don't have the date in front of me, but it's coming up soon on a Saturday at 2:30. They're having dancers there. So in terms of collaborating with, for example, churches, they seem to be very actively engaged with having programs that reach out to other groups of people than what we're traditionally used to as a library. So I just want to put that on the radar screen to think out of the box And I know that, Laura, you have worked a little with Adrian Billings Smith and have reached out into the senior centers. I, I don't think we can presume that all seniors have a library card. And particularly the one in Bishop's Corner, because the senior center is literally, they're hooked right next door.
On the back, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just thinking off the top of my head of existing programs besides, the Park Road Parade and Celebrate West Hartford. I'm thinking of venues where other people go that we don't show up. The Napoleonese have their fall, is it on Saturdays? They do, what is it, a food fair or something at one of the churches on South Quaker Lane on the Saturdays. I don't have all these schedules, but Laura, you're probably familiar with them. And I'm just thinking, those are places where people are advertising and, getting them to think about signing up for a library card or telling them about our upcoming programs. And certainly, I guess presume, but not maybe so, Nick Hornby, it's a great place to try to get people to sign up for a card and know about our program. So rather than totally reinventing wheel, there's so many things that go on in this town that I know in terms of outreach, it's hard to do. And finally, I just want to remind you that I think having a tour of the library for the public would be useful, like a open house thing where people could just sign up and come in and you guys tour the library and show them what's in it and where things are. Those are all wonderful informational outreach things that I think don't require a lot of heavy lifting.
Thank you for the suggestions, Gail. I did want to comment that the program at First Church, the Thunderbird American Indian Dancers, is actually a library program. So we're partnering with them because they have the auditorium and the space. But thank you for mentioning that. Sorry to interject.
No, that's okay. I thought it was, but I don't have all my notes here. So I thought it was, and I was going to say, yoo-hoo. That's turning out to be a wonderful collaboration, I think, for the library, right?
Yeah, it's working out great.
Eileen Daly, Chair. Piggybacking on Natalia's idea for the park and rec groups and camps that the kids go to all through the year, maybe we can provide them with applications for library cards or go to the camps. I'll go. And they could sign up that way. And then, I grew up with a bookmobile coming to my house every 2 weeks. Aside from the fact that my first job was here. Anybody?
Did we lose you, Eileen?
Maybe. I left off maybe with the providing kids that go through the park and rec camps and programs with applications maybe for the card, or just to send home with them. And then I grew up with a bookmobile coming to my house every 2 weeks, which we all loved and adored. And I don't know if West Hartford has ever had, maybe it's too much of a, probably not a great idea with the times we live in, but it was a very good one back then. Yes, Natalia?
As Natalia mentioned, for our library board member, I actually love the idea of a bookmobile. And you just reminded me that I had a phenomenal library growing up where I was in Racine, Wisconsin, phenomenal library, but they also had a bookmobile too. Yeah. And, that really, from a geographic standpoint, I do feel that would be, an opportunity to reach sort of the further ends of West Hartford, because Noel Webster is so central. I consider Bishop's Corner
can't get to the library.
So central. Faxton does offer another, but just to kind of get to some of the other boundaries of West Hartford, that would be amazing. I know obviously that would be a huge budget issue, but I think you guys do a phenomenal job. I saw you at Celebrate West Hartford and the Park Road Parade. You guys always have participants there. So, I don't know where else the people are, but I think you're doing an amazing job.
Thank
My
you.
other thought, sorry, one more silly thought. When you first said this, I thought, well, people are always going to the grocery stores.
Yes.
Could they not hand them out something at the cashier? Like they,
It's a great idea.
That was
That
my
might be
first thought.
surveys to hand out.
Sorry?
That might be a place
Yeah,
for
something.
surveys to hand out to get feedback from people.
Yeah, something.
There's
If not a
also
card,
some of the local
go ahead.
sorry, Eileen,
Go
I
ahead.
didn't mean to cut you off.
You're good.
Phone library board member. Some of the Stop and Shops locally do have free book carts or take one, leave one carts already. So there may already
Oh,
be
yes.
people who are readers who are tuned into that. So even
Okay.
just, a flyer or, might again just be a touch point with the community and other people. Like, they always sell Girl Scout cookies there. So maybe why
Yes,
not
they
library
do.
cards?
Great idea also. Wow. All right. Well,
Those are really helpful suggestions. Thank you. I'm going to take them back to the team because we actually meet weekly on Tuesdays, so we'll be able to start discussing what we might be able to do with this. We're hoping to have October be our community engagement portion of the strategic planning process. The other thing that I don't know if you want to discuss is the board's role in discussing the mission, vision, and values to evaluate the existing ones and see if there's anything, like if they're still relevant today, if they look like they're going to work for us for the next few years, if there's something that we see that isn't covered in there but has emerged as something that's really important for the library. And if you want to handle that in a special meeting or in your October meeting.
We could try special meeting, or if you, because this is one of those things that might go longer. Oh, Natalia, I see your.
Oh, yeah, I was wondering if maybe, how many pages would you say, Laura, you think that is? Because I'm wondering if maybe we could be tasked to read and review and like jot down some comments and feedback and then sort of go around and present our thoughts to you next October meeting. I don't know if that is something that would work.
I can send you the link after the meeting. It's basically one page. It's on our website now.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
I think.
All righty. Then Gail, did you want to say something? I thought I saw your hand. Okay. All right. If it's just the one page, I think we should be able to manage it in a meeting. How's everybody feel? Yes? Okay. All right. So why doesn't everybody plan to take a look at that? And we'll come back with something to add to the meeting on that topic in October. Okay? Everybody good? God bless you. And then the next item, Laura's the new library and community center update.
Yes, I'm going to mention a staff update, which is item B. If it's okay, I'll do both of those.
Oh, well, okay.
I just wanted to share, we have a new programs and outreach librarian. Leah Farrell is our new staff member. She came to us from the Wallingford Public Library and before that Farmington. She's been with us for only 3 weeks now, but her impact is already noticeable. She has so much creativity and energy. She's fitting in well with the dynamic staff. And we're just, I'm trying to hold back because I want to just throw everything at her. But we're so excited to have her, and I'm so grateful that the position was funded in the budget, and I think it's going to be a really, really big impact on the community and what we can provide for programs and outreach. So I wanted to celebrate her and share the good news. And I want to give you an update, yay, on our new library and community center. So you may recall that we finalized the feasibility study in, I think it was January-ish, the beginning of the year. And the next step is to hire an architect to actually design the building. So there was a pause for a little while as kind of the town went through the budget process and also understood the implications of the study, but now they're ready to move on with hiring an architect. So I don't think it's been released yet, but the RFP is going to be released soon, where they'll be recruiting firms to apply for the contract. Once we get all of the submissions, we'll have we'll have an interview process where this is what we did for the feasibility study. And actually, right when I came on board, I came in for the interviews. It was one of the first things I did. So we'll be interviewing the firms, making our selection. And so we expect that to take us through the rest of the year. And then early next year, we'll be able to start talking about having an architect and designing a real building for our new library. So exciting to have an update on that and progress and moving forward.
That's great news. All right. So the next line of next item is new business. And Laura, that's concerns your staff day in October?
Yeah, I'm gonna ask you to vote. We're on a good schedule now of having 2 staff days, 2 half days a year for staff days. It's a good balance of having time for the staff to do professional development, but not being closed for the entire day. So people still do have access to the library that day. So this one is planned for October 19th. The library will be closed from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. if that's your approval. And at this session, it's a good time because we're doing our strategic plan. So that's going to be a big focus of our meeting and an opportunity to hear from a large portion of our staff on their thoughts for our strategic plan and the vision of the library. So I am seeking your vote to close from 10 to 2 on October 19th.
Okay. EJ?
I move that we approve the request to close from 10 to 2 on October 19th.
Gail Crockett.
Okay, Gail, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Kim Cohen, library board member, I also approve.
Thank you. All right, the
Natalia
motion is
Mitchell.
done. Okay.
Sorry.
Yep, I see you. No, you're good too.
Library board member also approved.
Wonderful, thank you. All right, so that's all approved and all set for you
Thank you.
in October. And let's see, you think you have a, okay, something just went awry on the screen. All right, so, and back to you, Laura, for an 8 on the quarterly stats.
Yes, I wanted to just give you some updates on what we've been working on. And you may have noticed your quarterly stats were actually an end of year stat because this was the 4th quarter for fiscal year 23. And I wanted to pull out a few things because we've been growing and increasing our volume in a lot of things. So our visitors were up 29% over last year. Our public computer sessions were up 33%. And our circulation was up 10%. So these are really good metrics. I'm glad to see us growing. We're still recovering from pre-COVID times, but I think we've made a lot of adjustments. Our hours are not still what they used to be. We close at 8 instead of 9. We have 3 evenings instead of 4, and we have much fewer Sundays. So we'll be looking at that for the strategic plan, how our hours are meeting the needs of the community. But I'm really pleased to see so many people coming back to the library and are using our services. And I want to share with you some of the things that have been going on this summer. We had Facts and Fun that ran for 4 weeks in July and August. This is where we have 2 sessions with 1st through 3rd graders and 4th through 6th who come for 2 weeks each and do a lot of interactive sessions. It's an afternoon camp for the kids to keep them busy and learning a lot of things. We have special guests. We had zoo animals, Mad Science. We have the staff from our makerspace come and do 3D printing and virtual reality headsets. We have music and games, and the kids just had a blast. The Facts and Fun is made possible by a grant from the Stanley D. and Hinda N. Fisher Fund at the Hartford Foundation for Public Giving, and we are grateful for their continued support to run this very successful and popular program. We have about 25 kids per day to each of these sessions, so facts and the topping in the summer. Bishop's Corner had a great program also. They had their first year of Grand Friends. This is the brainchild of Bailey Bardino, our children's librarian at Bishop's. She planned this in coordination with the Senior Center. Grand Friends is an intergenerational program for school-age children and senior members of our community. So they come together to enjoy fun activities and make new friends of all ages. Our grand friends this year participated in an ocean-themed yoga class. They enjoyed an afternoon of board and card games and made no-bake treats. And the pictures from all the programs were just adorable. The program ran for 4 sessions on Wednesday afternoons over the summer. Our adult summer reading program had a great year. The challenge came to a close at the end of August, and we saw a nice increase in participation over last year. We had 18% more people who participated in the challenge. They read 46% more books than last summer, and they participated in 284% more activities. So we're happy to see all of the participation in the reading and the attending library programs and getting involved. And congratulations to all of the winners. We were giving away bi-weekly prizes, and we have on our website the leaderboard with the people who read the most and the covers of the books that they read. So if you want any great reads from your active community members, you can check that out. We have, especially at Bishop's, we've been seeing a huge influx of patrons from the Bloomfield Library. They closed over the summer to do renovations, and they've been there was a gap from when they were closed to their temporary space. And so we saw a huge increase in patrons coming in. So we've been spending the summer welcoming them to our libraries, helping them get acquainted with West Hartford and how we work over here. And we saw the circulation at Bishop's Corner increase 16% in the month of July alone from last year. And an FYI, the state's Borrow It program allows for patrons at any library in the state to use their card at any other library that participates in the program, and we get funding from the state to support this. So that's part of how we're able to help out the Bloomfield patrons, and we're happy to have them here while they work towards getting their library renovated. And our big event coming up is West Hartford Reads. Nick Hornby will be here. Well, he'll be in Kingfield Middle School. He won't be in my office. On Thursday, October 12th. And so our ticket distribution is tomorrow night. We're giving tickets out starting at 6 o'clock at the Noah Webster Library. People must be in person to come pick up the tickets, and individuals are limited to 4. We're asking people to only take the tickets that they intend to use because we expect big demand, and we want to make sure that we give them out to the people who can make it to the event. We've been hosting book discussions and film screenings for Hornby's works all summer. We do have one left. High Fidelity book discussion will be on October 2nd. We're really excited for this event, and we really hope that you can join us. And I want to wrap up with a few donation drives that we have going on at the library. We're participating in the Healthy Babies Diaper Drive to benefit the Diaper Bank of Connecticut. We're collecting diapers from now through October 14th at all library locations. We have bins set up. I think they're in the children's areas. And we're also having a Lego drive to help support our programming. Our Lego programs are very popular, and kids need a lot of Legos to build all the creations that are living in their imaginations. So we are asking for help from people who maybe have some Legos that they didn't want to part with but aren't using anymore. We're happy to take them. We're collecting bricks of any color and size, building base plates, Lego creator sets, classic creative brick box, and minifigures. The only thing we can't use is Duplos because that's a larger set and we don't have the demand or programming for those. Legos can be dropped off during library hours at any of our locations in the children's department, and the Lego drive runs through September 30th. So those are my updates for you this evening, but I'd be happy to answer questions or give you any more information if you'd like. Gail, Gail or
Sounds like
Natalia?
everything's going well. You guys go? Gail?
Oh,
Gail,
so
you may.
to collect the diapers, we just is there a box or special location in each of the branches, right? Is there any particular size you're looking for?
All
Or that's more demand?
There's like a flyer we have, but they're taking all sizes. They didn't tell us any specific size or brand. They're taking anything as long as it's new and still in its original packaging.
Okay.
And yes, there's a bin set up. There's a large cardboard container.
And 2 other quick questions. How are the I call them the pods inside Noah Webster, where you can sort of book a space and close. How are those bookings going, and how are the lockers outside of Bishop's Porter Library going?
Very well. The study pods are going well. So we book the study pod and the boardroom when it's not in use for meetings. We also book that because the pod was so full. So there are days when there's no open slots, when it's just full all day long. We book them for 2-hour blocks. So there is definitely a demand and a use for those in the community. I can get you specific numbers because we do track that. And then your other question was the lockers, and July and August had the highest, they were tied, they had the same number, but they had the highest number of retrievals since we had the units. So those are also incredibly successful.
Oops, I'm sorry, one more I'll sneak in. And how are you doing with, you don't have to pay a fine anymore? Are you getting books back?
We are. So we're doing well. We have had some with our rapid reads because it's a 7-day loan period. We've had to update our messaging and work with patrons to make sure that we get those back because there's a very quick turnaround. But on the whole, it's been people have been very happy about it. I've been looking at the reports of items that were lost before the program, and they're coming back. So every day there's fewer and fewer items that were lost. So people have just kind of randomly let staff know, like, I haven't been in the library in like a year, and here's all my books. I didn't know I had all these. So I would say it's going very well.
Thank you.
And Natalia, did you have something?
Yeah, Laura, when Natalia Menheve, our library board member, when you were talking, I just had this idea. It's more like maybe a marketing thing or maybe a way to connect with the community. You know how like there's Faces of New York, that was this thing. You could almost do like a Faces of West Hartford where you could feature, sort of random individuals. You guys, the staff might be out seeing somebody who's reading or seeing somebody who's carrying a book in their purse, or, could be a student, could be an adult, like anybody, and do like a little like featured bio on who they are, what do they do, what are they reading, what types of books do they like, or what are the next books in their Goodreads account or queue that they want to read. It just might be kind of cool to highlight like the different faces of the library of people who come in. Just a thought.
I like that. Thank
Good
you.
one.
Furiously taking notes.
I just want to piggyback. What was that TV program a long time ago where, similar to what you're talking about, Natalie, you catch people reading, like waiting for a bus? I mean, it's kind of like the roaming photographer who, catches people reading, standing in line somewhere. And
Right.
I was thinking, wow, if we could get a bunch of shots like that and sort of put them in the newsletter or send them to Ronnie Newton and say, West Hartford reads, we caught you, or we got you. I think that would be really a hoot, because you might find more people trying to get noticed for having a book or reading somewhere by a tree, or, you know what I'm saying? Because, and anyways, that was it.
Yeah, I remember
That's a
I
great
remember
idea,
the,
Gail.
yeah, both of those items. I remember the
Really
Faces of New York, and it would be a good idea for West Hartford. So, all right, so I think that wraps it up. Any other items that you want to bring up? No? Okay.
Wait a
I have
minute.
What?
When are we Gail Crockett, library board member. So when are we getting this update or review on the Kilfoyle? Weren't we
Gail,
supposed to be?
that's a foundation matter.
Oh, sorry.
We'll do it in the next half hour. That's a good reminder. All right, so I think it's time to adjourn. May I have a motion for that, Natalia?
Motion to adjourn the meeting.
Yes. All right,
Yeah.
and EJ, thank you. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Everybody?
Um,
Aye. And Gail, all right, so moved. Thank you for your participation and coming out on Zoom. And we will see you in October. And for the next meeting on the 23rd. Look forward to that. So I hope you all have a good rest of the night. All right.
bye, guys.